Hey guys, how y'all doing? How are you feeling? All right. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Coach Annie, and this is the Self Care Collective podcast. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to me on Spotify, thank you for joining us today. And this podcast, we talk about all things wellness, all things growth, all things healing, and everything about protecting your peace. All right. I created this podcast to create a safe space for us to share our experiences, for me to share my experiences with you guys, my expertise. I've been a wellness coach for 9 years and a fitness coach for 5 years. So I have a lot of experience in my own life, my own struggles. Some were medical, some were um, emotionally, and I've overcome a lot. And I feel like this platform is for me to help, to just help others in a larger scale, how to heal, how to grow, and to just be ourselves. Today we're discussing boundaries. Hmm. Boundaries. And for a lot of us, growing up, we didn't talk about boundaries or know what the hell that meant. We was just like we were children. You listen to your mother, you listen to your father, you listen to elders, even in the community. You don't talk back. It wasn't really a lot of boundary talk. So I wanted to have this discussion, and there'll be a few things, and I'm not gonna keep that long this session. I promise. I'm not. I just really want to talk about a few things about boundaries on this episode. And the first things that we'll be discussing is, what are boundaries, right? What do they look like in each area of our life? How does boundaries work for each one of us? Right? And then we're also going to discuss, how can we implement healthy boundaries in different dynamics in our lives? What does that look like? What is it? What does it don't look like? What are toxic boundaries? What does it mean? And what does it mean to me, most of all? Let's be real, right? Most of us really was not taught boundaries. Boundaries are your personal limits that protect your peace, your time, and your energy. Okay? They are the things that we put into place to teach people how to treat us, what to do, what not to do, right? That's what boundaries are. And we're going to discuss on a few toxic traits and different dynamics of our lives, and how can we identify them, and how can we strengthen them? How can we honor ourselves? And I'm not going to lie, I'm in my 30s and I'm learning what boundaries are, like in the last 10 years, like on how, what it means to me. Growing up, for me, I didn't have healthy boundaries in place, and a lot of us haven't. If we're all honest, we were not taught what boundaries were as growing up. If you talked out, or you spoke about how you feel against elders or anything like that, you were being disobedient, you were being disrespectful, you were being incompetent, whatever it is, whatever it is they wanted to tell you about yourself, you was going to get told. There was no such thing about boundaries. You were supposed to listen, you were to do what as you told, you were always supposed to be available to your family, no matter what. Answer that call 5 a.m. in the morning, whatever. No matter how toxic it is, you were supposed to always be there. And that's why we're going to talk about boundaries. What does it look like to have unhealthy boundaries in different dynamics of our lives, different relationships in our lives? We're going to talk about that as well. Let's start in family dynamics. Hmm. And I wanted to start here because for a lot of us, this is the most hardest and challenging place to set boundaries in families. Like I said before, families always feel like they're supposed to have 24/7, availability to you. Why is it so hard to set boundaries in family dynamics? Because we're taught, no matter what, you're supposed to listen. You're supposed to always be there for family, no matter what. If people are going through something, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, we're taught to just take it on because family is family, and that's all we got. I'm here to tell you, like, it's okay to love your family and still need boundaries. It's okay to love your family from a distance. It's okay to be that black sheep because your family is toxic and you have good boundaries. And I'm gonna teach you how that you can in place healthy boundaries, right? I just want you to understand though that it is our birthright to put boundaries in our place. We're all learning ourselves in this thing called life, and we're all finding our place and our footing. And it's important that we listen to our intuition when things, tell us no, tell us yes, do this, do that. And if we have constant things on the outside of us pushing these boundaries and pushing our intuition, we're going to be all over the place and people are going to walk all over us. In unhealthy family dynamics, parents sometimes don't honor their children's boundaries. And I'm going to tell you why. Hear me out. For an example, have you ever seen someone you haven't seen in a long time? Right? This could be a long time friend, maybe went to college with them, grew up with them, but your children haven't met them. You're introducing your children may come off a little standoffish, they're probably not even paying a person no mind. And you're like, say hi. Go ahead. Give them a hug. Don't be like that, right? We hear that all the time growing up. If you have done this, then I'm sorry, but you are guilty. Children know from a very young age if they like somebody or not. We are born with intuition. We lose it as we go through life. We lose our intuition as we go through. Some of us, not all of us grow up in toxic relationships or toxic homes. I'm not going to say all of us, but a lot of us, people where I'm from, we lose that going through life. How to trust our intuition, how to trust our instincts, because we're conditioned to be respectful. I remember in life when I felt like I had to show up for everybody in my family, like always be there. And even though I knew that it was draining me and it was becoming unhealthy for me and it was making me sick, I still did it because I didn't want to turn my back on family. I felt like that was loyalty. It's like that was everything. I feel like that is the most important thing about being in a family is showing loyalty. But I quickly learned and realized that it's not my job to be everything for everyone. And I want you at home to remember that as well. It is not your job to be everything for everyone. So, how do we set boundaries with family? I want you to think about each member in your family and identify where you feel drained, disrespected, or overwhelmed. Take a second to think about that. Really think about that. Where do you feel drained? Where do you feel overwhelmed? If any, if you don't feel anything about each person in your family, congratulations. You have had a good childhood. You have a good family. You got to respect the boundaries. This one ain't for you. This topic is not for you. But if it is for you, think about that. Even if certain topics make you feel uncomfortable or bring confrontation. You ever talk to someone and every time you speak to them, they want to talk about some shit that, you know, is going to bring a argument because y'all have two different viewpoints about it. Yeah, it's a real thing. Basically, what I'm getting is that you really have to limit what you discuss with these type certain people in your family. I don't care if it's your own mama. If it's gonna cost you your peace, why do it to yourself? Why do it to yourself? It's okay to say I love you, but I can't do that for you right now. It's okay to not answer the phone whenever they call you. 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 in the morning, gossiping. First thing in the morning, you know what they're gonna do is gossip. You gotta choose yourself. You really gotta choose yourself, even when they don't understand. If someone only loves you when you have no boundaries, that is not love, that is control. And you better really smarten up out here, because family, friends, people will sense that. They will sense that it eats you alive. When you don't have no boundaries, you just go with the flow with everything. Oh, people are gonna call you all the time. Call you all the time and dump on you. Absolutely. And this goes for friendships. This goes for intimate relationships as well. Because if I'm being honest, it's a lot of us that's been pouring from empty cups for way too long. And I myself am victim of that. I have learned these lessons as well too. Because being an empath, especially, being an empath, people are going to look to see how can they get over on you. Like expecting you to just solve all their problems all the time, burn you out. And the thing about it, like, I'm the type of person, whenever my family needed me, like, I can remember anytime my family needed me, I'd always been there. But when I needed to rest, when I needed help, when I needed a shoulder to cry on, it was like, oh, she'll figure it out herself. They often going in a win. They often going in a win. So you're going to have to do some things to protect yourself from certain people, maybe in your family. We listen, we do not judge. Okay, that's what the Self Care Collective is about. We are all learning in this thing called life. We just figure out what we like, what we can do along the way. There's no rule books of this thing called life. But we have to honor ourselves and honor our boundaries along the way. By show of hands, how many of you have friendships or relationships where you was always overgiving, overextending yourself, being that person's everything, and then at the end feeling straight up exhausted, took it for granted? I know. We listen, we don't judge here. You can't always be the strong one all the time. Even strong people need someone, right? But just because that you are a strong individual doesn't mean that people should cross your boundaries and put things on you that you don't deserve. You have to stand up for yourself. We all learning, right? I'm gonna hold your hand when I'm gonna say this. Your role in someone's life should not be at the expense of your own wellness. I'm gonna say that again. Your role in someone's life should not be at the expense of your wellness. Here are some signs that you need boundaries in your relationships. And I want you to listen, right? You may have one from this list or you may have all, but take what resonates with you. I'm not telling you what to do with your life. I'm only here to give advice, right? For one, you feel emotionally exhausted every time you spoke to this person. You definitely need boundaries. You're constantly saying yes to things that you really want to say no to. You need boundaries. This person could make you intentionally feel guilty, or you just start feeling guilty for putting yourself first. Yeah. You need boundaries. And this person may want to take up all your time, speak to you all the time. It could be a sibling, it could be your cousins, just all the time. Your parents call you all the time. Yeah, you need boundaries. I just want to share with you how you can implement some healthy boundaries in these type of dynamic. So one, learn how to communicate without over explaining yourself. A no is a no. You don't owe nobody an essay. Absolutely not. Number two, pay attention to how people react to you setting a healthy boundary. Because let me tell you something, especially with family, you grow up with these people. They know you from when you was young. They birthed you. They raised you. And when you start implementing boundaries in your life that's different, they may not take it so well right off the bat if it's a toxic family environment. They are not going to appreciate you, this new you. They're not. If it's a healthy family environment, then you guys will be able to talk it out and express how you feel and respect one another if it's a healthy family environment. But toxic family environments do not respect healthy boundaries. They don't expect you to like be a rug your whole life, and then now all of a sudden you go up and then you want to be respected. They're not going to do that. There's always going to be pushback, especially if they're older than you, if they're family members. Like that's just how family are. You know each other. I know you want to use a pistol on yourself. I know you want to use a shirt. It's so many things like people just say that in toxic family environments. That's why it's good to identify these things. Okay. Number three, yeah. So number two, pay attention to how they react to your boundaries. Pay attention to that, right? Then number three, stop feeling bad for prioritizing yourself. Setting boundaries is especially hard when dealing with narcissistic behaviors, and that hit the fucking hammer on it. Stop feeling guilty for prioritizing yourself. That's going to be a next topic on next show is about narcissistic behaviors. We're going to save that for that. But it's hard to set these type of boundaries in these type of toxic relationships if they are narcissistic people around you. Okay? Love should never, ever, ever come at the expense of your peace. And you can't be everything for someone else and nothing for yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And toxic relationships, toxic family members, they're not adding value to you. They're only going to drain you, only going to keep you in this stagnant, whatever it is, gossiping, low vibrational space until they make a decision to change, because you cannot change them. You only could change how people treat you. You only could change how you respond to people that's going to push your boundaries in your family. This last boundary that I want to talk about is boundaries with money, right? And growing up for me, we didn't have healthy boundaries with money. How can you have healthy boundaries with something that is never enough of, right? Some people live in fear. Like we're taught how to live in fear because we don't know when it'll come back again. We don't know how long it's gonna last. So we could develop this fear, holding on to it. Some people hold on so tight to it because they don't know when it's gonna happen again. Unhealthy boundaries about money. We're gonna discuss that right now. Money boundaries are extremely difficult when you are overextending, loaning money, or taking care of others before taking care of yourself. And family dynamics and friendships, I think it's important that we identify money differently. Right? Our boundaries and money shape us and then tell us how we feel about ourselves. How many times have you given when you actually didn't have it to give? Whether it was a friend, whether it was a family member, they called you and they needed something and they knew you had it. And you gave to this person. How many times? How many times that same person may have asked you over and over? And you just kept giving. You have to really be clear about what you can do and what you can't do. And don't feel peer pressured behind it. Being true to yourself, being true to your goals. It's important because you're going to run yourself dry with toxic people, toxic friends. You cannot afford that. Stop lending what you can't afford to lose. Stop lending time you can't afford to give. That means giving energy to things and situations that you can't give an equal amount to attention because you need it right now for your having healthy boundaries in our families, and our personal relationships, intimate relationships is so important. It structures us, it protects us, it gives us strength, it makes us better people. It teaches people not to just treat you like shit or walk over you. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes it's no easy way to just tell someone no. You have to learn how to be comfortable with honoring yourself, with being confident in what you need. Okay? If you learn and you take anything from this episode, let it be that boundaries are just not selfish. Please. You've been overgiving, overextending for way too long. And by now, you are a narcissist's dream come true because you may be an empath. You may be a person who's really nice and really genuine. And you don't have to lose yourself in order to have good boundaries. You can still be giving, you can still give to others, you can still be a teacher. But if you are a person who, for instance, like myself, I'm a wellness coach. See, I'm coughing. This is like confirmation for me. I'm a wellness coach. But if we are friends, I'm not your wellness coach. We are friends because I love you and we're friends. I don't coach my friends. I've learned to do that. I learned to not coach my friends. There's boundaries that is in place. That's for me though. But for me, it works. Because when I'm your friend, I don't want to be a therapist. I don't want to be a wellness coach. I don't want to be a fitness coach. I just want you to be my friend. When I'm talking to my mom, I want to talk to my mom. I don't want to wellness coach my mom or be my mom's therapist, you know? So I want you to take that. It's not selfish. This is the act of self love. It is time to love yourself. I believe in you. You can do it. And listen, if you need some assistance on how to implement wellness plans into your life, I got you. DM me on Instagram at the Self Care Collective 333. And let's talk, let's discuss, let's get some real authentic values in your life to help you protect you. And thank you for tuning in. I love you guys so much. My name is Coach Annie, and this is the Self Care Collective. I will speak to you guys next week.